now that he went into a tough fight with Andy, the first fight, you see what he's about. You know, he doesn't like to get hit. He gets hurt easy, and you could probably say he's a little afraid. He's a little afraid to.
Can you fix that? Can you fix fear?
No, you can't.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? All right, so the man you guys were just listening to talk right now, that was the man that Anthony Joshua decided to hire as his trainer to prepare him for the Usyk rematch. And just so there's no confusion, that clip that I played for you guys of Robert Garcia talking about Anthony Joshua, that was following the Andy Ruiz loss. And you heard Robert Garcia clearly say, he said Anthony Joshua, he doesn't like to get hit, he gets hurt very easy, and you could say he's even a little afraid. When he was asked, can you fix that? He said, no, you can't fix that. He also said that Anthony Joshua's gone soft and has no dog in him. Now, that was clearly an indication that Robert Garcia may not be the right trainer for this assignment. But I truly believe the fact that Anthony Joshua was from the UK, he really knew nothing about Robert Garcia. Other than seeing Robert Garcia train a lot of fighters on TV, he didn't really know anything about Robert Garcia personally, and probably didn't even know that Robert Garcia, or most likely he didn't know that Robert Garcia said these things. And this is the reason why you truly have to vet new trainers if you're going to hire them for such an important position. You guys may recall the video I just did recently where I reported what Floyd Mayweather said after Joshua lost to Usyk the first time. Floyd revealed that he offered to train Anthony Joshua. And I was very surprised that Anthony Joshua, he would turn down arguably the greatest fighter of all time, Floyd Mayweather, to work with Robert Garcia. And these were the things that Robert Garcia was saying before he even started to work with him. Now let's fast forward to once Robert Garcia got the actual assignment. Well, once Anthony Joshua and Robert Garcia start working together, there was more signs that Robert Garcia wasn't a good fit, because by Robert Garcia's own admission and other people on the team, they admitted that Anthony Joshua and Robert Garcia, they continued to bump heads. They were at odds when it came to the strategy of beating Usyk. Now we fast forward to what Robert Garcia said after the fight about Anthony Joshua. Robert Garcia, he says Joshua was mentally defeated since round 10. At that point, we were relying on a good shot. That is what we were hoping for. One shot, because he was dominated at that point of the fight. End quote. You know, guys, I'm actually just surprised that Robert Garcia would say something like that, especially when you think of everything that he had already said prior, everything he had said before he was working with Anthony Joshua. It sounds like he felt the exact same way after the fight that he felt way before he even got the assignment to train Anthony Joshua. And by the way, let me just go ahead and correct Robert Garcia. Anthony Joshua was not mentally defeated. Anthony Joshua was fatigued. He gassed out. That's the reason why right after the fight, Anthony Joshua, when he grabbed the microphone, one of the first things he said is, "I'm not a 12-round fighter." Anthony Joshua, he had a history of getting tired in the later rounds, especially in the Carlos Takam fight. In the Carlos Takam fight, you could really see Anthony starting to fatigue in the later rounds. In fact, it started to look like Carlos was starting to take over the fight when all of a sudden the referee had actually stopped it. They did Anthony Joshua a favor in that fight in particular. But the difference for sure in this fight was the fact that Anthony Joshua got tired. He was doing really well until he gassed out after he actually hurt Usyk. Now, Usyk, he was tired too, but he maintained his form. All of a sudden, Anthony Joshua, he started throwing his right hand and then putting his head down. And he kept doing that over and over and over again. And Usyk was countering it every single time he did it. And it was because, once again, AJ was tired. I'll close out with saying this. Hiring the right trainer does not guarantee that Anthony Joshua would have won this fight. But at the same time, you still want to make sure whoever you hire, they have your best interest in winning the fight. And they are rooting for you to win the fight. They want you to win the fight just as bad as you want it. Listen, I can share my own personal experience. There was a time when I was sparring in the gym years and years ago. I'm sparring this Mexican guy, and the Mexican trainer who was supposed to be working my corner, He's actually indirectly yelling out instructions to the guy that I'm sparring with. And I've seen this happen with other guys in the gym. So my point is, just because you walk into a gym and you say, hey man, can you be my trainer? It does not mean they're automatically going to have your best interests. I mean, from everything that Robert Garcia said before he worked with Anthony and even after, it sounds to me like when he got the phone call that AJ wanted to hire him, it seems like Robert was like, well, hell, okay. I mean, I'm not going to turn down this payday. I'm not going to turn down this opportunity. Now, I'm not trying to say Robert Garcia tried to sabotage Anthony Joshua's fight with Usyk, but what I will say by way of contrast, you have other trainers like Joel Diaz, for example. Joel Diaz, who was the original trainer of Tim Bradley. You know, he was asked recently, because he's got a lot of big wins with his fighters from, the Bivol win, and of course, Tim Bradley beating Manny Pacquiao and beating Juan Manuel Marquez. And he was asked in a recent interview, which one of your wins would you say was the biggest win of all? Now, and I thought Joel Diaz probably would have said, Bivol beating Canelo Alvarez. But instead, he said it was the win over Marquez when Tim Bradley beat Juan Manuel Marquez. And he explained why. He was very honest. He said because of the hate we were receiving from Mexican fans. And just in case you guys don't know, Joel Diaz is Mexican himself. But he was saying that tension, the hate towards Tim Bradley and Joel Diaz training Tim Bradley, it made it far more personal. In fact, Joel Diaz, he even said to me, I believe I did an interview with him a long time ago, and it's still up somewhere on my channel. But Joel told me that one of his Mexican friends or associates that he knew, when he found out that Tim Bradley was fighting Juan Marquez, this Mexican friend or associate that Joel Diaz knew, he wanted to bet Diaz that Marquez was going to win the fight. So Joel, he said, let's do it. And after Bradley beat Marquez, this guy, he came back to Diaz to pay him. And as he's paying Joel the money, he says to him, he said, man, I just don't understand you. How can you root or go against the Mexican when you're Mexican yourself? And Joel explained, like, not only is Tim Bradley my fighter, but I've been training this kid since he was like 13 years old. Now, that was just one of Joel's stories, but he told many stories of how there was so much hate from the Mexicans. Matter of fact, even when I did my prediction video, I can tell you guys right now, that prediction video is still up. I did a prediction video. I predicted that Tim Bradley was going to win that fight. Remember, this was right after Marquez had just knocked out Pacquiao. And this was also after Tim Bradley was in his most brutal war against Ruslan Provodnikov. Now, keep in mind, guys, Tim Bradley had actually been calling out Juan Manuel Marquez for years. And Marquez even came out at one point and used the typical talking points that they use when they're avoiding black fighters. And he said that Tim Bradley was boring. He said nobody wants to see that fight, which is ridiculous because Tim Bradley was one of the most action-packed fighters in the sport. But that was their excuse for why they didn't want to fight him. As soon as Tim Bradley had a bad performance against Ruslan Provodnikov, Juan Marquez fell for the bait and took the fight. Well, like I said, guys, I made a prediction video and I broke it down and explained in detail why Bradley would win the fight. Not just saying, oh, Tim Bradley's going to win. I went into complete detail, broke down the whole fight, why he would win the fight. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, that video, that prediction video that I made on YouTube is like top 2, top 3. One of the videos that received the most racist comments from Mexicans, simply because I had the nerve to say Tim Bradley was going to beat Marquez. I mean, once again, guys, this was more at the beginning when I first started. So like I said, a lot of the racist Mexicans, they were very, very open with their racism. But now, since they know I have a reputation of exposing racists, they don't just come out usually and post racist comments, at least on my channel anymore. Now they just try to use code words to substitute for the racial slurs they used to post in the comment section before. So my point is, I know exactly what Joel Diaz is talking about when he talks about the type of hate from Mexicans he's seen when he was training Tim Bradley to beat a Mexican fighter. But for Joel Diaz, despite all of that, for him to still say to this day that that was his favorite win, that was his biggest win he feels. Joel Diaz saying that tells me Joel Diaz would have clearly had Anthony Joshua's best interest in every regard if he was working Anthony Joshua's corner. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. So to get this hookup, make sure you follow and contact my man Scalp Carolinas on Instagram. Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Deki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodeki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.